Hey guys, it's Megan. I wanted to jump in here really quick and make this video just to address some of the things that I've been seeing online lately with artists and makers feeling like in the midst of all of this crisis, does their art really matter? And this is something I've been seeing a lot. It's not the first time that I've made a video about this because it's really, really easy as an artist to have a lot of self-doubt about the value of what you do. And then in times of crisis like this, it really, really comes to the forefront. So I want to just address a couple of things, basically for anyone who feels like they need a pep talk right now. So there are two things that I think come up. So the first one is obviously like, oh, well, it's not essential. Like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. Like, so, you know, art like in this kind of situation is really just not that important. So first of all, I want to say that that is patently untrue. First of all, doctors and nurses are awesome, but we can't all be them. So like, I could never be a doctor or a nurse because the sight of like blood makes me like cringy. Like when people tell me about their injuries, I'm like, please stop talking, please stop talking. Like I can't do it. So not everyone can have those jobs, but that doesn't mean that what we are doing isn't important. Like I feel very, very deep down in my soul that art enriches people's lives. And so just because it doesn't feel like it's the most immediate thing doesn't mean it's not essential. I was having this conversation with an artist where she was saying, okay, but like people aren't gonna buy art because like they need food. And it's like, yes, people do absolutely need food. But just because like art is not as essential as food doesn't mean that it's not important. Like we actually need all of these things to have a rich and fulfilled life. We don't just need like to eat and sleep and poop and like that's it, right? Like that's not the definition of a fulfilled life. We need all of these things. Like we need art, we need all of these things in our life. It's so important. And so I know that it really feels like right now, okay, like is there value? But there absolutely is. And this brings me to my second point, which is that like, for a lot of people who are making art, you can feel like, well, my art's not that important because I'm not making like big capital A art that's going to end up in a museum. And I want to talk about why actually what I've realized in the last couple of weeks is that like, it's not the big capital A art that necessarily impacts people's lives in the most positive way. So I love museums. I'm a museum junkie. I go to museums all the time. But obviously right now they're all closed. And so the art that's enriching my life right now is not the art that's hanging in a museum. It's the art that I own, right? Like it's drinking my tea every morning out of an amazing, beautiful handmade mug. This one is by Heidi from Bella Joy Pottery. She just released it. I scooped one up because I was like, I need this color in my life big time. It's that, it's the necklace that I put on. It's the painting on the wall. It's the art that you surround yourself with every day that actually has the most benefit on your well-being. And so if you're feeling like, oh, my art doesn't really matter because it's not like capital A, museum, gallery work, fuck that. I'm just gonna be real honest. Hopefully you don't have kiddos in the room. I will put that in the caption. Fuck that. That's what I have to say about that, right? Like it is, I'm getting so excited I'm knocking the camera around. It is the art that we live with every day that impacts our lives the most. And people are noticing that more because they're stuck at home right now. So I think it's really important to understand that yes, you may not be a doctor or a nurse, but the reality is for most people, if they are doing what they're supposed to be doing and staying home, hopefully you do not need the doctor and the nurse in the first place, right? That is the idea. The idea is that we are trying to minimize how many people have to go to the doctor and how many people have to go to a nurse. And the way to do that is to make sure you are happy at home, right? Like if you can be happy in your home, then you don't have to leave and risk putting yourself or your loved ones or the doctors and nurses who are supporting us in danger, right? But if you are sitting in your blank, boring ass home and you're bored because you're not surrounded by beauty or joy or your home just makes you freaking miserable, it's gonna be so much harder to stay there. And now, obviously, I understand that there are people who staying at home is like a legitimate dangerous situation. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are like, I watched all the Netflix shows and now I'm bored and it turns out like I'm actually not that happy spending time in my house. Art can have a big impact on that. So really art absolutely 100% impacts the way that people feel in their homes, in their spaces, in their bodies when they wear art. So art absolutely can help us get through this because it's going to make us happier in place. And again, it's not that capital A art, it's the wonderful art that you get to use every morning. Like every morning when I'm drinking my tea out of a mug, it's making me feel calmer, it's making me feel happier, it's making me feel more connected to the wonderful people who make it. So that art is absolutely 100% important right now. And for those of you who are selling and are still able to safely sell, I know some people are saying, okay, like, I still feel bad selling, or I don't want to sell because nobody is buying. So I just want to call bullshit on that one as well. So absolutely people are still buying art right now. I've seen it. I'm watching people sell. Another ceramic artist whose work I love and collect did a release yesterday. And like most of it has already sold out less than 24 hours later. So don't assume that people aren't spending money right now, because also guess what? People are at home and they're hanging out on their phones and they're stress shopping. So as long as it is safe for you to continue to do so, absolutely continue to sell your art. But the most important thing I want you to remember, whether you're in selling mode or not, and even if you are taking a break from making, I just want you to remember that absolutely 100% your art has value. Art is super important to the world, and you need to... So my phone cut me off right in the middle of a really good rant. But what I want you guys to remember is that your art absolutely has value. It is essential to the world. And it's not the like big A, capital A, gallery, museum art. It's the art that we are living with and enjoying in our everyday lives. So whether you are selling right now, or you're hunkering down, or you're just kind of feeling that doubt, I want you to remember that your art is important. And anytime that you feel like it's not, I want you to be like, no, Megan told me that my art was important and she would not lie to me. That's right. I am not lying to you, because I really believe deep down in my soul that art makes the world better. It is why I do the work that I do. It's why I don't just make art, but I help artists and makers make money. It's so important to me because I believe that art is really important to the world. And without it, we would all be worse off. So just remember that what you do is super valuable right now. It is the beautiful objects, the art. These are the things that are keeping us in our homes and helping us stay there, feel connected with people even when we can't connect in real life. This is really, really important work. So I want you just to remember that even if you're having these doubts right now, I believe in you. I believe in the power of your art. And I want you to own that and know that as well, because we need all types of people in the world. We need all types of experiences in the world. And art is really, really critical to our well-being. We can't just be people who sit in plain boxes and are sad all the time, right? We need art. We need beauty. What you do is so important. So please do not let this crisis doubt the value of what you do. If anything, I want you to lean in and let this crisis help you realize that what you do is so valuable and so important to the world. So please do not give up hope. I know it can be a really tough time for people, but I want you to know that your art absolutely 100% has value. Even if the only value is that it makes you happy, that is value, right? Right now, we all need to lean into the things that make us happy, that help us feel safe and connected at home. So lean into that. Please, please, please know that I believe your art has value. I believe that art has value to the world. So if you can't make art right now because you're feeling a little freaked out, that is fine. Absolutely take a break, regroup. Do not pressure yourself into doing something you're not ready to do, but pretty please know that your art has value. Art has value to the world. The things that you make, the things that you sell are really important in helping people's quality of life. So please don't doubt what you do. I think that your art is awesome. And please, if it's now or in the future, keep making it because art makes the world better.